Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Some live streams on YouTube may only be available for a short period of time, depending on if it's my channel or Firecracker's channel. Now, if you're watching the edited version of this broadcast later, when I put it up as a podcast and you want to participate in the actual live, make sure you get over to YouTube and subscribe on Writing in the Ozarks, and then make sure you hit that bell for all notifications. So when we go live, you get notified and you can join us and be part of the fun. So I got to close the window because I keep getting dings in my earphones that are not related. So anyway, I'm your host, Mike, and we've got Firecracker and Bagger Bader. And at some point, I hope Charlie Fagan and Jeff from the Cat House will be joining us. We're going to talk about the Ozark Mountain Rumble Rally that's coming up this weekend in a little bit. But we're also going to talk about some of the rallies and events that have happened recently, some things that are in the news. And before the night's over, we're going to talk a little bit about the new CVOs that, if you didn't realize, the details are coming tomorrow. Harley Davidson's doing that announcement tomorrow. And I may have heard a few things today.
I'll bet you did.
I heard take out the trash. That's what I heard. Why are all these boxes piling up in the garage?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. I did hear that a little bit. So, Steve, why don't you tell us about your event first, the $5,000 poker run, and how things were and how things went for that event?
Yeah, so 9th annual Big Ass Poker Run was another success. The weather was absolutely perfect. It was low 70s. I think everybody that went had a great time. I think it's really catching on. This was the second year in Kansas City for it. In the past, it was in Wichita and another location in western Kansas. So I think it's just a matter of people learning more about it. There is another big run here in Kansas City that a lot of people participate in. And unfortunately, we did pick the same weekend as them. That hurt us a little bit. So we'll make sure that we don't do that next year. But I think we're on to something with it being in May. We might try early June, first weekend of June next year. So I'll keep everybody posted.
Cool. Yeah, we don't do Memorial Day weekend. We'll be competing against each other on that one.
Right.
So Scott Mullen said hi to y'all. I threw that up there. Mike Bodine is in the chat as well. Chris 87 Ricer's in here with us.
Ozark HD.
Oh yeah. So Bama Odin says we got to stop by the Rock and Pig. They have good food and drinks. He works there, so we're gonna try and find him sometime this weekend when we're down there because we missed him during spring fling. And then Ozark HD Riders is here. Said, "Hey, Mike, April, and Steve. Hey, Dan and Brenda, are you guys by chance going to Eureka Springs any this weekend to say hi to us while we're hanging out down there Saturday? We're leaving out for Friday night for that, but before
Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon after work. So, I guess we're talking about your event, and I'll fill people in on the Mid America Freedom Rally. We had a great event. I mean, we had pretty much no problems. We had one older gentleman who didn't bring his oxygen and had some trouble breathing, and we had to get an ambulance to come take him for breathing and oxygen and stuff. But we didn't have any fights. We didn't have anybody getting too inebriated or get hurt on a bike or anything like that. So that was really good. We had beautiful weather, great weather, probably the best weather we've had in years for the Freedom Rally. We had awesome bands, and yet attendance was down just a hair from last year and down, probably 10% or more from 2 years ago. So, we were kind of talking before this got started, and, April brought up a really good point. April, what'd you say what might be keeping people away?
The cost of everything, money.
The economy, people staying home, saving their money, unsure, interest rates are up, inflation's up, all the free government handouts they were getting during COVID have died out. So that could be part of it. I mean, I hate to say it, but it could be very much part of it. I don't know what we should have done different, or why people who came 2 years ago wouldn't have come the last year or this year for our event. I mean, there was nothing to keep them away. It wasn't the weather. It wasn't anything else. People that came, like Scott came, it was his first time there. Mike Bodine, they said they had a good time. So yeah, I don't know. And while we're waiting on those guys to get in here, do you think that people are concerned about going to events and rallies because of things that are like what happened at the Red River rally, the shooting? Makes any difference for your event, Steve? I mean, it's a day event poker run, but you guys don't have a big club show up or anything like that, do you?
No, but we don't discriminate with colors. Everybody's as welcome. I have heard rumblings here in Kansas City. There's some things that might be going on in that world that has people a little bit concerned. Whether there's any truth to it, I don't know. Hopefully there's not, but that's always something you have to worry about, especially if you're put together a motorcycle event. You want everybody to have a good time,
There's our buddy Ray. So
Ray, love Ray.
Yeah. I think he was wanting to know when he was going to get to ride in the Hoopty Mobile again. He messaged me about that the other day. So he wanted to know how much your Uber fee was to come pick him up.
It's getting repairs from all those potholes and manhole covers I smashed into.
So, for those that may not know what the Red River deal is, I don't know a lot of details about it, and I don't want to call any particular clubs out, but there were a couple of clubs who got into a heated discussion. It ended up in gunplay. 3 or 4 people shot, people going to the hospital, and the mayor of Red River rally, the mayor of Red River, where the rally takes place, in New Mexico, has said that they're done. There'll be no more rally. They're canceling it. They're not going to have it again next year. They'll do something else to celebrate Memorial Day, but it won't be a bike rally.
Yeah.
And,
I'm from Western Kansas, so that's not too far away. And there's a number of people that like to go out to that event, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I have ridden my motorcycle out there in that area, and it's phenomenal riding. So it's just an absolute shame that a couple bad eggs cause trouble for the rest of us. I just don't get it.
But Charlie just texted me. It just says backstage. It's me, Dave. I got the stuff. There he is. He just popped up on my screen. So we'll bring Charlie in here and stuff. Hey, Charlie, how you doing tonight?
Good. You doing all right, buddy?
We're doing all right. We were talking about our events and stuff, and just kind of warming the crowd up before we get into your stuff. We were discussing Steve's poker run had a little bit low turnout, lower than normal. They ran to a competition with another big run in their town that hurt them a little bit. We had a little bit lower turnout to Freedom Rally this year, and we were just kind of contemplating whether it had anything to do with the economy, or maybe the things like what happened at Red River Rally is keeping people away from events and stuff. But I hope not.
We live in a weird world today.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we have a really good turnout this weekend. We're looking forward to it. We're going to get down there, Friday night. You're the man behind this thing. So I want you to go ahead and tell everybody who might be in the chat, who hasn't met you or heard from you before, what this rally is about and where the money, what charitable thing this is driving, because I know Jeff and I talked about that, and I think it's an important cause.
I've got to say this first, man. I've got them coming in from all over. If you watch the group, man, they're New Mexico, Maine, South, San Diego. They're heading out today, showing pictures of trailers. They're coming. A lot of them are coming to meet. I got some of our special needs kids coming to town, but more than anything, I want to let everyone know this. I've gotten with the counselor at the Eureka Springs School, and you guys didn't know this before. I think I put up a little bit, but long story short, they're going to be bringing out the soccer team and washing motorcycles at the Pig Trail Eureka. They're going to have some of the preschool, some of the smaller kids. We're going to set up a lemonade stand with some hot dogs and hamburgers. 100% of that goes to the Eureka Springs School, to the counselor, sports equipment, late lunches, scholarships. No one else in the school knows where the money could be used the best than the counselor, in my opinion. So that, in a nutshell, is the main thing I want everyone to know. The rally's free. Come party, have a good time. But, please stop by Pig Trail Eureka, man. Get your bike washed, grab a glass of lemonade, and let's help the schools out. That's the important part to me. everything else aside. Man, there's a lot going on, man. They've $10,000 prize money in the bike show. They've got the stunt riders. Noel McEwen will be there actually, and I didn't know this last time I did a podcast with you guys. Noel McEwen of Off Access Paint and the airbrush behind my show bikes. He also paints for Truex, Earnhardt. All your top NASCAR racers' helmets are done by Noel. Noel will be there finishing an art piece of Popcorn Sutton live that was requested from someone at the Moonshine Festival. So you're actually going to be able to see Noel in action doing some airbrush work there at the Pig Trail in Eureka also.
So I got some slides I put together for this. So speaking of Pig Trail Harley Davidson, Saturday, that's when you guys are doing the bike show, right?
Yes, we've got some nice vintage machines coming in, buddy. Yeah, there's a picture. You got the Easy Rider bikes coming in, the Billy bike, the Captain America are coming in from Michigan. Mark Drew Roar is bringing those in.
Well, and then let's see. So I know we'll talk about what else Pig Trail's got going on. We may just hit it by like stops, but so Pig Trail, I got this off of their site. So Friday they've got precision riding demos. The 12 o'clock shop's going to be back. They're doing guided rides. Looks like Saturday's when the bike show is, and they're going to have some live music and stuff. Sunday they're doing bike blessings and things like that. And that's where you're talking about Noel's going to be painting. That's over at Pig Trail in Rogers.
No, he will be at the Eureka location.
At the Eureka location. Okay, cool.
Be over there with the kids. That's where I will be set up. The rally shirts will be at the Eureka location. Gibbs will be at the Eureka location. A lot of vendors there. Swap meet guys will be at the Eureka location. And I will be headed over Saturday there to hand out the trophies and the prize money for the bike show.
Yeah, it's tough. We don't really have show bikes. April took first place in the women's class at the Freedom Rally. And she's got a nice bike, but it's not a vintage bike or anything else. And you never know. I know it's a people's choice thing, but just never know how that stuff's going to go. So we're trying to decide if she's going to put her bike in the bike show and we're going to hang out over there, or if we're going to come hang out over in Eureka Springs on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. I think wherever you be, it'll be a party. I think, I chose the people's choice because that's just the way I like to do bike shows, where you've got, it's up to your peers and everyone else that picks the winners, not just three judges and what they like or what they agree on. I just think that's the way to do a bike show, in my personal opinion. I wish they were all like that.
Yeah.
That's how ours is. We at the Freedom Rally, we have classes, like we have a ladies class, a chopper class, touring. We have an antique and a vintage, rat bike, sport bike. We try and break it up but we don't really tell people you have to put your bike in a particular class. Once in a while, somebody will stray out of their class. We had a bagger that somebody put in, custom, because it was a John Shope Dirty Bird Customs, bagger. So anyway, it was but it was a good time. We had some really good looking bikes there this year. There was a lot of good looking bikes. It was a tough class, but April took first place. And I think our local Freedom of Road Riders local, 3 guys in that swept the touring class. So we took home 4 trophies at least in the bike show. And I think Jerry got something too. So that was 5, but we took 5 or 6 classes.
He took first in his class
in stock. Yeah. So we took 5 or 6 trophies home for our local at the bike show. So we had a good turnout.
Good. And another thing, I've been threatened with, I've got a female photographer supposedly coming from Easy Rider magazine. From my understanding, they're picking up from 2019, and they're going to start in December with volume 555, I think is where they left off. But hopefully that pans out, and maybe we'll get some photos from the rally in the new Easy Rider when it's released.
That would be awesome.
It would.
So we talked a little bit about what's going on. You'll be mainly at Eureka Springs. We'll come see you. And I know Sunday you're doing a ride. We'll talk to you when down there and figure out if we can work it out to ride with you a little bit before we head home or something Sunday. And then so we're getting into town. We're leaving sometime after work on Friday, probably 4 o'clock. So we're probably not going to get down there before.
I took off at noon.
You took off at noon?
Yes, we said we were leaving at noon.
Okay. Well,
So you are leaving at noon. You better figure it out.
I feel like I've got, I'm getting sick, boss. I'm getting sick. So I'm going to have to make an appointment for the doctor at noon on Friday. Take some sick time.
All right, you'll find me up there with the kids getting, do it with the bike works. That's where I will be Friday and most of Saturday as I can before I have to go over to the show. That's, like I said, that's the most important part to me of the rally is getting some funds raised for the schools.
Awesome.
Friday night, I'll be at Switchback. I've got a triple threat band, local band from Southwest Missouri playing Switchback Friday night. So I'll hang out there for a while. And then Saturday night, I have Fifth Element band playing at the Cat House. So I'll be there. Like I said, I've decided I'm not going to spend my whole time at the t-shirt booths and stuff. I'm going to try to get out and enjoy a little bit of the rally myself this time.
Awesome. So if we get in Friday afternoon, we'll probably stop at Switchback, see if you're down there yet, because that's on our way in, and maybe we'll catch you there. I've got their flyer up here on the screen right now. Like you said, they've got Triple Threat on Friday night. Saturday night, they've got the Naked Jake. We've heard him before. He's excellent. They've got a poker run they're doing on Saturday. They're doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody's got something going on to help raise funds and to help, this program. And that's really cool to see, businesses and the Rockin' Pig and Pig Trail and Cat House and Switchback all come together and help support events like this together.
Well, and I think, to touch on a point too, the best thing, the way to do that is to include them. Let the kids come out, let the counselor come out, include them in what we're doing, let them see what we're doing. We don't have anything to hide, Yep.
We got a lot of people in the chat tonight. Doc Harley's joined us. We've got Ray's is in here, Middle Tennessee Concrete, Dallas. Rod says rumor has it might be his birthday. He wished he could be there. I'm going to tell you, if Rod ever comes up to you, Charlie, and says rumor has it's his birthday, you just say rumor has it's my birthday and it's your turn to buy.
Okay.
I'm just warning you because he's got me once or twice on that. So now I got him on Facebook. I can look his birthday up. Mike Bodine said, I told my boss I had eye problems. I couldn't see myself going to work. So Rod's coming down to St. Louis to ride with Adam on Friday and Saturday. He'll be in the St. Louis area that day. I know, speaking of the Great American Convoy, Steve, why don't you got something planned with that, don't you?
Yeah. So based on his schedule, Adam and his convoy will be here in Kansas City tonight, late tonight, I'm assuming. And then he's going to be at Worth Harley Davidson tomorrow from noon to 2. And I plan to ride up there. I'm going to take it all in, see what's going on. I've already noticed that I know some of the people that are coming in for that from out of town. So it'll be nice to see some people I know that I met actually from his campground. So I'll do the convoy from Worth Harley Davidson, which is up on the north end of town, all the way down to the south end of Kansas City at Rawhide Harley Davidson, and plan to make a day of it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be exciting.
Cool. And that's another great cause. They're raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project to help veterans. Adam's been out there pounding the miles and stuff. We got to see him leave Pig Trail Harley Davidson and start this convoy. And I think there's a good chance that me and Firecracker may be there when he rolls into Milwaukee. It's looking like it. We'll know more after this weekend, but I think it's something that's going to happen. So, great things. And, we were talking about rallies and events, and I think it's really important for people in the chat and that see this to remember when you see these events, get out and support them, especially the charitable ones. Like we did a poker run Saturday for up at the Lake of the Ozarks. Mike Bowman, met us at the end of it and stuff. And Scott did the ride with us. He's in the chat, and we raised money for a person
a single dad with cancer.
A single dad with cancer. And so we raised $8,000 doing a poker run and some silent auction stuff. But, that only happens because people show up. And it's just like this event. Helping these kids is going to require people showing up, buying a T-shirt, buying a hamburger, buying a hot dog. for anybody who can't come to this event, if you'd like to support it, in the description for this live stream, there should be a link. I'll throw it up here in the chat as well, but you can go there and you can make a donation to the counselors deal for the Eureka Springs School District. And so that doesn't go in front of like like the school board or anything else, right? Charlie, that counselor gets to decide where that money goes, right?
Are you talking to me? You guys are kind of muffled, man. I heard the counselors in the school.
Yeah, so the counselor's fund thing, that I put a link out here where everybody could, if they want to donate online.
Yeah, there is a link. There is a link for all the people and actually, man, it was really cool. A lot of my members said they've received cards from the counselor. Some of the members, even though they can't make the rally for this reason or that reason, surgery, whatever, there's a link in the Harley Davidson flea market page where they're able to go straight to the top. And it goes straight to the school, to the counselor, and they've made donations already. I don't have a figure. I don't know. I don't keep up with that, but I know that they've already been donated because I've had members come back and say, "Hey, man, I got a thank you card, and I made a pretty good donation, and I got a thank you card from the counselor and the students." And that means a lot, man, when you donate to people that appreciate it. I mean, that little card, means a lot. To me, it did,
Yeah, so I just put the link in the chat, so everybody who's watching the stream can click the link in the chat, and also it's in the description for this. If you go down below the video and you look at the description, there's a link in there as well, and we'll be sharing that out on social media this week for anybody that can't go to the event. If you can just $5, $10, whatever you can do, help support the kids, help this event. I mean, the more we do things like this, the more we change people's perceptions of bikers. And unfortunately, with things like that go on and things that happen like the Red River Rally, we need that in our community. We need people who are also showing people the other side of the biker community, that not everyone is pulling guns and, getting hot-headed. Some people are actually here to have a good time and to, be charitable at the same time while having a good time.
Yeah, 99%.
And there's power in numbers, man. And a lot of things that an individual I couldn't afford to do or you couldn't afford to do, when you all come together, I have 258,000 members. The change in your ashtray can make a difference. If you get enough people, man, that are willing to jump in, man, it's easy.
It is.
To get them to kick in. I was going to say something before. Oh, by the way, we're giving a motorcycle away too Saturday. Actually, a choice motorcycle. I've actually threw the steampunk pan in the pot there. So Gibbs at some point will be going live in the flea market page, and Gibbs will be pulling a plug chip out of the plug jug, and whatever number comes out either owns a highly collectible 1990 Harley Davidson Gray Ghost Fat Boy, or they could choose the custom speed steampunk panhead. Winner's choice, whatever they decide. So that's built up Saturday. We'll be giving one of those motorcycles away to one lucky plug runner.
So to get a plug, is that something they can buy there?
Yeah, I think I've got a few plugs left. There'll be some that you can purchase on site. I do shut it off at a certain point.
And otherwise, how do they buy one? Do they go to the Harley Davidson flea market and there's a place in there where they can buy it?
Yeah, you can go in the flea market or private message me for plug purchases. And basically, man, you get a plug. Gibbs has got poker chips, and those poker chips have the numbers on them. And anybody that's a plug runner, you can come by the booth any time of the day, shake the plug jug, beat Gibbs, and be there live. And if the person, you don't have to be present to win. If someone at home wins, we just go in and we video chat them. One time I had them waiting on me that knew they won, but the other time we caught them totally off guard, got the holy shit. Reaction from them, which is awesome for the whole group. Get to watch that, Hey, you just want a bike.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool to catch them off guard.
So how much does the plug cost a fella? Because I'd like to have that steampunk panhead.
We run $50 a plug.
$50 a plug, honey. Can I have $50?
We might both buy one.
So you take? Are you taking
And they got the winner's circle, and everyone. I'll get it posted up before the rally. I think we've had 15 winners since I started the group 4 or 5 years ago, and the plug runner circle. And I'll try to post them up. I've got pictures of the winners and their bikes, and the videos and everything. So it's pretty cool deal, you know.
Very cool. So, if Firecracker, if you win, would you take the Fat Boy or would you take the Panhead, the steampunk Panhead?
Probably the Panhead.
That's my girl. Now you know why she's still with me.
Also, I'm going to drag along. I don't know if you've seen last week that David Mann experts, including David Mann's wife, 100% certified that the pyramid gas tank I have is actual true blue David Mann tank art.
Wow.
Cool.
I have the piece in my shop. I'm actually going to build a bike out of it, but I am going to bring the tank along to the rally just for those that would like to see it in person. I've got the message and everything from Jacqueline Mann and her 2 expert assistants, and they all 3 agree 100% it is David Mann tank art. It's got his signature, everything on it.
That's very cool. I'm a Mann fan. I'm also
Oh.
David Ole. He does similar type artwork, and he has a whole collection of like steampunk paintings. It's a modern bike that they use but he paints it like it's a Panhead, but they use a modern bike as the prop and stuff. But I've got a book by him, and I got my first piece of fine art by him for Valentine's Day from this beautiful lady sitting in here.
I've actually been blessed to meet Jackie twice. She's been at my house twice, and she's a nice lady, and I wish her nothing but happiness because she's kind of had a tough road with the contractual agreements that David made with Easy Rider. What an impact he made in the motorcycle world, for sure.
Yes. She gave me well, I just want to go ahead and tell you, man, because this has got me feeling like very stoked and very privileged. She does own the copyrights to the photographs that are on the tank, and she gave me written permission to put that image on the back of the official Harley Davidson flea market shirt.
Wow.
I've got to send her two shirts right off the bat. She sent me the post office box. She granted me permission to use David Mann art on the back of the Harley Davidson flea market official shirts that will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah, dude, I'm honored. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm buying one. I'll buy one.
I'm honored, man. You know.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a motorcycle out of them. I've already been stacking parts. I got a Panhead motor sitting there. I got a stock and leg kickstand. I got vintage bags from the 70s, the frame, everything, the transmission. It's all laying right there in the shop floor. As soon as this rally's over, it's on.
Well, you're getting lots of comments there. Rod says he'll take one. Everybody's going to want one of them shirts.
Hell yeah. That's cute. That's badass.
Yeah, it's going to be cool, man. Something else I wanted to brag a little bit on this morning. It was before, man. I had to have been 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning, man. A member come across, told me he was broke down in Liberal, Kansas, 150 miles from the closest bike shop, blah, blah, blah. I went in the group. I put up an SOS. 19 minutes later, he had help on the way.
I'm from Hayes, Kansas, so that's my neck of the woods.
The guy had the tires that he needed. He was actually like 60 miles away from the guy that was broke down, had a trailer, said he'll send his son. That was something focused on before that, the Harley Davidson flea market is more than just a parts group. It's cool to be able to know that you can get out on the open road and travel around the nation and there's help not too far, That's just one of many times that's happened. One post in the group, 19 minutes, help.
Wow.
On the way,
When Harley pulled back and closed up those 200 dealerships a couple years back, I mean, that hurt rural America because it was those little shops that had to close up. The one my hometown in Hays, Kansas closed up. So your services are more important today than probably ever.
True.
And it's not, kudos to your group, but there's lots of organizations that you can be a part of. They're like that. Freedom of the Road Riders is a motorcycle rights organization. And we have a list of the locals and how to contact the president of that local. And if I'm in Kansas City, there's 5 locals up there. There's 5 numbers I can call, and he's going to turn around and call his people or get a hold of someone. And he may know who's off today or who's retired, who's got a trailer, or who's got what that can come help me. And having those kinds of resources, whether it's a Facebook group or an organization that you're a part of, like an MRO or whatever, are really important. And there's a lot of guys I hear that, they say, oh, I don't ride with anybody. I ride by myself. I don't want to ride with anybody. But there is a attribute to being part of a motorcycle family that is valuable, and it is, still important today.
And I tell you, let me say this: I had to get off my ass. What was last night about 5 o'clock and go rescue a buddy. But there's no more important than a person in the world to go rescue than who, babe?
Lawyer.
Your lawyer.
My lawyer loves me.
I haven't had to go rescue my lawyer, but I have had to go pick up my bail bondsman's bike and put it on the trailer and bring it back.
Close enough. Close enough.
The lawyer is the guy you need after you call the bail bondsman.
Yeah.
The bail bondsman is the guy you call first.
Yeah, there's a deal on the next time you need him.
But nah, man, it is, it is a network, man. And, thanks to the internet these days, man, there's just so much you can do. You got such a long reach, and that's why I'm adamant. You guys, some of you haven't been in my group for a long time, but that's why I don't have time or tolerance for the bullshit, man, because, the guy that you're giving shit to could be the guy that come and save your ass off the highway, or it could be the EMT that saves your kid's life in a wreck. You can't. These internet warriors, man, they drive me nuts, man. Sometimes, I just boot them, get rid of them, man. I don't have time for their shit,
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so adamant about keeping that group a place for everyone to come hang out, learn, share your adventures, share your stories, sell your parts. The group was built for everyone. Yeah, I started it, but I don't own it, man. It belongs to its members. I'm just the custodian.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the internet does empower people. It makes it easy for people to get help. It's also got some negative sides, and like you said, sometimes I put out a video and it attracts the wrong people. People who don't even ride motorcycles, but they want to chime in on it, and they have, we'll say negative comments. They're more than negative, but I've gotten really good at that remove button. Remove,
right.
Remove, block. I ain't got time for it. I'm not going to argue with you. Somebody said something about, well, does it bother you? And I said, no, I just turn the fan on and go to sleep like normal.
Right. Well, then, they say you're thin skinned and all that. It's not about thin skin I've been called every name in the book, man. It's just about, I'm not putting up with your bullshit. There's too much other shit going on. And I'll just be honest with you, man, these youngsters that are in there, it's what we got to work with, man. If they want apes and this and that, what have you, they're the ones that are spending money. Those ones in there that are trolling and flipping shit and being assholes, they ain't spending no money. No. They're just in there running off my dollars. So why do I want to hesitate on booting their ass on down the road? That's just the way I look at it,
Right. Like I put a video out for the motorcycle community, and then you get guys in there that are hating on Harley and this and that. And you could, and some of them you can tell don't even ride a motorcycle or whatever else. They're just trolling, and just send them down the road.
Yep.
I'm not even going to acknowledge them. Let's talk about something else.
So, you've got this Ozark Mountain Rumble Rally. So for people that might not know, because last year was your first year doing it, right? You did it in Lampe last year?
Yes. Black Oak Mountain Amphitheater last year.
So that was your first year. This is your second year in Eureka Springs. Do you have any goals as far as like how you measure success as far as the the event itself, what it needs to do, or what?
Well, man, it's a lot of hope, man. Because I'll just be honest with you, right now, man. I think between me and Pig Trail, I know we've put out about 25 grand. You know, the people don't realize, man, that these behind the scenes they cost money. You know, you got security, you got this and that. But it's like, you know, me and Kyle said, man, look, it don't really, at the end of the day, it don't matter. If we do something for them schools, our mission is accomplished. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we'd like to raise as much as we can, but you know, there's a lemonade stand at Sturgis raised $32,000. You know, I'm not saying we're figures, but it can happen. But you know, it's not going to happen overnight. It's something that's going to take time, and it's not easy doing the rally thing. And this all started out because I think I had 170,000 members last year, and we were going to have a get together a couple years prior, and the COVID hit. And you know, due to everyone's safety, we couldn't have a get together. So last year was basically our first, man, this is our get together, meet and greet. Because man, we deal with these people. A lot of us are like family, and when I say that, every day we wake up to coffee. Good morning, Bob. Hey, Larry. What's up? What do you do? Well, working. You know, we become family, man, and we're there when through the good times and in the bad times, man. So, you know, a lot of my members, you know, I don't find out till afterwards, man, how much they like the group when after they've passed away from cancer. They chose to spend their last days with us, man. And for this rally is basically our annual meet and greet, get together. You know, meet the guy that's been sending you the 45 parts in person. You know what I'm saying? That's it, to me. That's part of it also. Just bring people together. You know that. You know, just like Gibbs. You know, our president. You know, we would have never crossed paths if it wasn't for the Harley Davidson flea market. You know, he come riding in one day on the back of his daddy's hog screaming wild hogs. And I thought, man, that's cool as shit. Well, I got a hold of his dad. I sent him a free shop shirt. Well, I was actually down there winning the Battle of the Bikes. And I got back to my room and I opened my Facebook, and there's Gibbs standing in his kitchen with my shirt on, giving a big fist bump. Well, the whole group's like, man, that's cool. I'd like to send him something. Well, the next thing you know, Gibbs' dad had to build a bigger mailbox, and you go to his house, he's got half a spare room full of nothing but shirts and memorabilia from brothers around the nation. So we put him in the T-shirt business. I've got pictures of easy 75 to 100 bikers show up at Gibbs' house to buy his shirts and meet Gibbs.
They plan rides around.
They reroute toy run rides so they can go by Gibbs' house.
Just to wave.
You know, there's just pictures and pictures of 2 or 3 people that just went to see Gibbs. Gibbs is a nonverbal. He has Down syndrome, but he's just, you just have to meet him to understand. Super smart kid. They have to keep him off the computers. And I learned this from his mom. I don't know if you've heard any of those stories, but he likes to order them new cars and join rehab so he can get back massages and get checks from J.G. Wentworth over Rex that he's never been in, order hair gel so his dad can grow hair. They have to keep him off the computer. Just because he's nonverbal doesn't mean he's not super smart, you know? And yeah, he's a trip, man. And I can't explain it, but I was supposed to be at Ventura, California, David Mann Chopper Fest the first time I met Gibbs. But Gibbs had wanted to come to the Ozarks and meet me, and he had to have a major surgery. He couldn't make it. It was on the 9th of December. Well, prior, I'd asked CB, which is his dad. I said, well, when's his birthday? He said the 9th of December. Long story short, I canceled my trip. Noel McEwen, my airbrush artist, painted a helmet for Gibbs. It's got Gibbs on the front, Man Bro Nation on the side, and the wild hog on the back of it. And I drove up into LaRue, Ohio, and so walked in Gibbs's house on his birthday and surprised him. First time we had ever met in person. And man, from that day on, we just have a bond. You know, we FaceTime 2 or 3 times a week, and you know, I'm his Superman in his world. You know, I ain't shit, but I'll take it. You know, and he's mine. You know. And he taught me so much. And Gibbs is the one that inspired me to do what I've done for the other kids, the all-terrain wheelchairs for the kids with cancer, to the buggies for college. If it wasn't for Gibbs, I don't think I would be doing all that.
Well, that's very cool. I mean, you be careful. You'll have a firecracker over here tearing up. She's got a very soft spot for kids. She last few years she's done benefits for kids with cancer and stuff and helped out. And it's really tough, especially when you know they have cancer and that their diagnosis is not good. But it's for the kid and it's for the family as well. I mean, we had one of them we did. I had a bunch of YouTubers send us stickers, and I had like 50 or 70 channels so all send me stickers, and we gave him a board that had a message in it about staying strong or one of those motivational things. And then it left room for him to put all the stickers around. And it wasn't 2 hours from the time we gave it to him. We got a picture of that board filled out. He went straight home and put all those stickers on that board as fast as he could and stuff. And, and it's things like that that touch you and you don't forget them. And you want to help the next kid. You want to, you want to do that for someone else.
Yep. And we had Rayleigh. She was fighting cancer in Oregon, and I just posted some pictures of her the other day. And man, they flooded her just like they do Gibbs. The poker chips, everything, the support. And their parents came in. They had to sell their motorcycle to because they needed the money to be. They were 2 hours away from the hospital. Well, we chipped in, got them a hospital side room so they could be hospital side during her treatment. Well, they'd end up selling their motorcycle. Long story short, she fought her cancer. She beat its ass. She rang the bell, and when she did, we sent them a 2006 Ultra Classic to replace the bike to have it sell. Rayleigh's still in the group doing good. All of her hair's grown back, big old curls, and she has regular checkups, and everything's coming back good. And that's been 2 years, 3 years. She was actually at the Ozark Mountain Rumble Rally last year. We flew her and her parents into Branson for the rally, sent them to Branson to do Silver Dollar City and all hoopla in Branson. They had a great time.
That's very cool.
And that's all done. People get kind of aggravated within the group because they want to share, and we don't have a share button in the group. What we do in the Harley Davidson flea market is a personal choice for all of us, and I just kind of feel like it's really nobody's business what we do amongst ourselves.
Yeah, you keep it a private group, which is the same way my riding in the Ozarks group is, because it keeps the riffraff out to some degree. You still have people that slip in, but you can filter better who's in the group and stuff. But yeah, sometimes people are like, why can't I share this? Well, because it's a private group. But because it's a private group, that also means whatever you post in that group, you don't have to worry about anybody else blasting you on the internet for or seeing it or whatever else. It stays in that group.
Well, and it's to me more. It's more about putting about the cause and not the applause. And everything I do, I don't let sometimes it's better to do things and don't tell nobody. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
Letting everyone know, they don't have to know everything you do.
Right. Yeah. My group for riding in the Ozarks is more about trying to share what events are going on here where people can go see. I would have people ask me, where's a good place to camp? We had it this week. Somebody asked, where's a place to camp that they could put their 40-foot RV? And I don't know the answers to all of that, especially for Northwest Arkansas. I don't take an RV down there, so I don't know the good campgrounds. But I created this group, and it's now 2,000 or 3,000 people, which is small, but it's still, somebody puts a post in there, and within hours, they've got answers for 2 or 3 different campgrounds that people would recommend. It helps them answer questions and solve problems for them, and that's the whole point of it.
I'll tell you, this is a good, funny story with a happy ending, man. I got this moderator now. His name is Rich Cena. And he came in the group, and he was the biggest asshole you could ever put up with, man. Well, long story short, he is now a moderator. It took some work on him, man. Big biker. I mean, he probably weighed 275 pounds. Just huge guy. Well, the way I broke Rich Cena down, we were doing a little benefit. We were getting a little buggy for Marissa, a little girl in Rolla, Missouri that's going to college, having trouble getting from class to class. So I nominated Rich to get her a bell, Gremlin bell for her buggy. Rich is like, well, I'll just send you the money. You can pick her up one. I'm like, no, you're asking to go down, and you're going to go down and get her a bell, Well, as I was doing the live video, we met him at the Nickerson Park Zoo. Rich had sent the bell to their cutest little angel fairy with big pink wings. Great bell. So I made it a point to let everyone in the group see the bell that Rich had got from Marissa, and now anytime you mention that little girl's name, Rich is boom, he's right there. So I'm not the only person that these kids change. There's and a lot of members in the group will tell you that they change a person's outlook and perception of life in general.
And you
And
said
they will.
you said Marissa was in Rolla, Missouri.
Raleigh, yeah, she's actually in college right
That's where we are.
now. Oh, right on. Hendricks is her last name, and her parents showed up at my house one day to buy a Dyna. And they pull in a minivan, and the next thing you know, the door slides open, and they're unloading Marissa in this wheelchair. And I'm like, cool. She comes in my shop, cute little thing, 18 years old, got a little nose ring right here, and she just smiling and she wheeling around the shop, taking pictures of all them, and she's just cool, taking pictures of them bikes. And I gave her a T-shirt, and well, we had another event where I gave the all-terrain wheelchair to another one of our kids, Victor, one of the tank chairs. And Gibbs is in town to receive his sidecar. Well, Marissa wanted to come, so they brought Marissa. So during that presentation of those two things for those kids, I kind of got Marissa's mom over to the side and asked her if there's anything we could do to help her, And that's when she explained about the, having trouble getting across campus, class to class, in the old traditional wheelchair. So, long story short, we pitched in, and I think it took us 36 hours, and we bought her a $3,000 little buggy, this damn Bluetooth. And there's videos of her riding around the parking lot, Dickerson Park Zoo. It's got Bluetooth, turn signals, buggy, a tour pack, everything on it. Cool little electric buggy type thing. Kind of looked like a little Volkswagen. Well, the next thing you know, she's in college, and her mom's an EMT. She gets a phone call that they need to put a helmet on her. She's went across the crosswalk and went up a block, and they caught her going through the drive-thru at McDonald's on her little buggy before class. So, but yeah, Marissa Hendricks is her last name is Sean, and they will actually be at the rally this weekend. So you'll see her there.
Very cool. Well, I'm really glad that we're going to get to come be a part of this event, help support it, help get the word out. I hope people who watch this on Facebook or on YouTube, if you're in the area, even if you can just come down for the afternoon and buy a shirt, get a glass of lemonade and buy a burger, you can make a difference in a child's life. And so we'd really appreciate your support. If you can get there, come out and see us. Me and Firecracker are going to be hanging out at the Cat House on Saturday night. We'll try and stop by the Switchback on our way in and see if we can catch you there, Charlie. But we'll definitely be hanging out at the Cat House 7 to 9 on Saturday. So if anybody is there, come find me and Firecracker. Hit us up for a sticker or a poker chip. We'll be handing those out, just saying hi and thank you to everybody for coming out and supporting the event and being a part of it.
We got to go see the kids too.
We'll do that Saturday. Don't worry. Well, I'm sure we'll see Charlie up there Saturday when we go get our hamburger and our lemonade.
I'm looking at it like this, guys. Whether there's 50 or 5,000 or 50,000, I'm going to have a good time, and I'm going to enjoy the kids. That's just my attitude toward this rally, or any of them. Whoever's there, we're going to have fun.
Well, we generally do a pretty good job of that. I mean, for us, somebody made a comment recently because we were talking about our schedule, and we've only got 2 or 3 weekends between now and Sturgis that we don't have a motorcycle event booked or planned. And they're like, don't you ever stay home? And I'm like, I would rather be out around bikers, doing biker stuff, doing biker things, going somewhere around bikers. It's just, I can mow the grass Monday through Thursday. Friday comes, it's time to hit the road, be somewhere. We did a local poker run this weekend and had a really good time and hung out with some friends and stuff. But, we're going to be at the Rumble Rally. Then we're going to take a weekend off. And then we've got to go to, we've got our camp out at the end of June. We're doing a little camp out at a campground just for friends and people from YouTube, if they want to come hang out with us. And we're going to do a little ride from Licking. The campground's near Licking, Missouri. So we're going to go from Licking, Missouri to Uranus. And I'm making poker chips up, Charlie, that say I survived Licking Uranus 2023. And I'm going to ask everybody for donations, and we're going to donate it to Prostate Cancer Fund or something. Do something cool with it. So that's what we're doing last weekend in June. And then we go into Cassaday bike run in Kansas. We're going to go do that. And then Milwaukee in the middle of July, and then Sturgis at the beginning of August. And September's absolutely booked solid for us. So
Yeah, September's always a big month.
yeah, so I told you, I think I mentioned to you before, Charlie, about Shovel Fest. That happens the first weekend of September after, it's like the weekend after Labor Day. So we'll be doing the Shovelhead Bike Show for that. And then we've got Bike Fest. And then we've got Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue all back to back, 3-4 weeks of running. I don't know if we'll make it to K River. I think as it irons out right now, I have 7 hours of vacation time left after Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue.
Man, just out of curiosity, I haven't been to Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue since they moved it to Rogers. How did the move go? I mean, as far as turnout and stuff like that.
It wasn't quite as big last year as it was before the whole COVID thing and everything getting shut down. I think some people are still upset. Some people don't know, or they've made other plans and they're waiting to see what happens with it. Rogers was the first year and they didn't want to gamble on it. I think it'll grow back. I think they've got some work to do. They've got to get some, reorganize and get some things done. One of the big complaints we heard last year was they didn't shut downtown parking in Rogers off to just bikes. So we had locals and bikers all at the park together, and you got kids pushing their strollers and some of that's okay. But, sometimes at these bike events, bikers want to be able to be bikers and not have to be, watch what they say and what they do. And they don't necessarily want to have a beer garden next to the city park. So I think some of that's getting fixed this year. They need a little better demonstration of where things are, where to find the stunt show, where to find this and that. But I think they're definitely getting back on track. They probably need help with the bike show. If you know any guy that can help them, because last year they didn't end up having it. The guy that was supposed to do it passed away a month or two before that, and his son was going to try and pull it together, and they didn't do it. And they ended up having a car show and no bike show and a motorcycle rally.
They will have a Stokes Air Battle of the Bikes is the ones that were doing it when I was doing the shows in Fayetteville.
So
I don't know if those guys were still around.
Well, all I know is I think it'll get back. I don't think it was as big as it was. I think it can get back if they do it right. One of the things that kind of surprised me is like the entertainment is not for a big rally. They never have anybody that I've heard of. They don't bring in Joan Jett or any national acts or even any like big tribute at bands. It's local bands that I've never heard of, and that's not going to draw me down to listen to a band for somebody I've never heard of when there's so much other stuff to compete with.
It's Bikes, Blues,
Barbecue. I will be bringing show bikes to the rally. The popcorn bike there, Kyle's asked me to bring it over to the Rogers location. The popcorn bike and probably the Legend bike will be there. And the David Mann tribute and the Steampunk will be with me at Eureka. So I will have show bikes there. Have 4 total this year. So I'm not entering the shows, but they're on display.
And that'll be during Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue?
No, that's this rally. This one coming up.
Okay.
No, BBB, I'll compete in those. I can't compete in a rally that I'm putting on. That wouldn't be right,
Right. Yeah.
I just give all the money to the schools if I won anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there's some pretty good pots on that, isn't it? I read Best in Shows $1,000.
Yes.
$1,000 for Best in Show, Steve.
That's not bad.
And then
I think there's 10 classes. They've got 10 classes.
Yeah, there's 10 classes. I want to say I know third place was like $150. First place was and second place were higher, obviously, but yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good pots on this deal.
And that's pretty. And I have to come in. Kyle and Pig Truff are doing that. Them guys didn't have to do that, man. They're investing in this rally too, man, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, Kyle's just been a great guy to us. Every time we've ever needed or wanted anything, he's been there. We reached out once or twice. We talked about the benefits that we had done in the past for a kid, and Kyle will mail me a gift card from Pig Trail Harley Davidson for a benefit 200 miles away. to help
Right.
support us. That's
Right.
just the kind of guy he is. When we talked to him about the girls doing International Female Ride Day and maybe making, the dealership a stop, he's like, well, let me know how many. I want to plan and do something for you. And they had wine and cheese and beer, and they had a t-shirt shredding class for the ladies, and the guys sat in the recliner chairs and got back massages while the girls got to cut up shirts. And I didn't think we was ever going to get out of there.
Yeah. I guess they're beating the shit out of a car or something too. I don't know. I seen something about it. Got some kind of a car smashing shit going on Friday or Saturday. It's on the Pig Trail site. They're in the Rumble Rally. They call them some guys. They got a name. There's so much shit going on. I couldn't tell you all of it. I'm sure I've missed some of it.
Well, we appreciate your time tonight. It's been very enlightening. It's for a great cause. Again, we want everybody to, go out and support this event if you can. But, if there's an event in your area, learn more about it. See what it's about. Go check it out. Give them a little publicity. Share it. Help these things stay alive, because this is part of our way of life. And, I can't imagine if there wasn't events to go to. That would be sad, and I don't want to be sad.
I can be stingy with my dollars, and sometimes you see somebody doing a fundraiser and you're like, but every time I donate, I feel great.
Hey, every time I donate to every benefit, I usually end up buying my shit back. I spent over $100 and put together for a benefit for one of our friends. I spent over $100 and made a Harley basket. I ended up buying it back myself. I do that all the time, but I'm constantly, even, when we go on our trips anywhere, I go to the clearance racks or I look for stuff, and I always buy stuff because I will donate to any benefit I can, so I'm always trying to buy stuff to donate. And a lot of the times I do buy it back. Mike's like, you donated it.
She'll be buying Harley Davidson t-shirts from the flea market groups just so she can donate them to a benefit.
And that's something else too with the group, man. I get, I don't do the whole GoFundMe's on medical bills and rec bug. We lick our own wounds. But if you'll notice, I have a pattern of everything we've done within the flea market. It's a lot. It's always the ones that don't ask. Those are the ones we go after. The rest of us, she didn't ask for a buggy. Same with the sidecar, the chair. It's finding those that don't ask or not expecting it is rewarding to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not expecting it. And it made it. You just got to make a difference where you can. You can't. We all know we can't fix the world, but we do make a difference. And that's the main thing.
It was, probably 8 years ago, a friend of ours who rides a bike was diagnosed with breast cancer. And my daughter was probably 11 years old, something like that now, right around that age, because it's been right at 8 years, and she has turned 19. And we did this poker run, and we did silent auctions, and we raffled a gun, and I don't remember if it was $8,000 or $12,000 or something in that ballpark that we collected, and we got cashed all the checks. We put all the money in Ziploc bags, and me and the two people that helped put it on took her to that person's house to give her the money, and we let her hand her that money herself, that wad of cash, and that person cried and was very emotional and very thankful and everything else, and it instilled a sense of charity in her that we don't go to Walmart at Christmas without pulling the name off the little tree and buying a gift, or you don't, if you can, you help, even if it means you're going to have you order off the dollar menu tomorrow instead of getting what you want. And like Steve said, it makes you feel better when you do stuff like that. We love to do things, but if we have to choose between doing a benefit or something that's charitable versus something that's not, we always choose the charitable thing.
Well, even if we can't make the charitable event, we usually donate to it in some way. But
It's not always have to. It don't always have to be, a donation, man. If you can make someone smile a day, man, it's good for the soul.
Mhm.
Make them laugh, make them spit their coffee. That's what I try to instill in my group. Be kind. It's free. We need that in the world.
That is for sure.
Guys,
Well-
hey man, it's been great. I'm going to start shuffling motorcycles tomorrow and rally shirts.
All right. Well, we'll see you later this week, Charlie. I appreciate your time. I'm going to stay on here and talk a little bit. I know we've lost a few people, but if you didn't know, Harley Davidson's got an announcement tomorrow about the new CBOs that they're coming out with at the 120th anniversary party, but they're going to release the details tomorrow. And I heard a few things today about that. So, Firecracker, did you watch the Firecracker? Did you watch the videos that I put out about the CBOs?
sure did not.
Because you don't care because you're not buying a bike.
She's
See?
got her dream bike.
She is not she is not the demographic that cares about what Harley Davidson is releasing. She's got a purple bike. So unless they're releasing a purple bike, she doesn't care.
She's got everything she needs.
Yeah, I don't have the money to buy another one anyway, so there's no sense of me paying attention too much because it just might make me want to have another bike, and I just don't have the money for that.
Did you see what Mike Bodine posted there in the chat?
He'll see us
you
Friday.
all Friday. So we'll see you Friday, Mike. I guess we'll see you in Eureka Springs, buddy.
Yeah, and you're taking off at noon.
So
We're
yeah,
hitting the road.
so if you're leaving Friday, Mike, text us. You've got my number. Text us, and maybe we'll hook up on the way down because you're on the way. So he lives en route.
Hey, can I talk about something I really didn't plan on talking about?
I don't know if it's about your hemorrhoids. I've already told you we're not going to discuss that on YouTube.
And you guys didn't know there was a syphilis simplex 8. Come on. Everybody knows that.
Monkey's here just in time for the syphilis conversation. Perfect. He probably heard me say CBO.
He said Bagger Vader has an itch. Okay, Bagger Vader.
All
Go
right,
ahead and tell us.
Steve, get your thing out before we get into the CVO stuff.
It's a little bit of a downer, but it ties into your event, to the event this weekend down there at Eureka. So, and I want to make this positive because it just shows you the impact that biking can make. But so I'm from this little town out in western Kansas. I live on 34th Street. Another kid that I went to school with lived on 35th, and they had a pretty big sized family. And so his little brother was Jim. And getting into biking, we reconnect on Facebook. Didn't know he was into biking as well. Him and his brother, most of his family was actually into biking. So anyway, long and the short, we have an event here in Kansas City that I helped put on at the time, and they came up to visit. So I haven't seen these guys in 40 years. Yeah, probably about 40 years. So they show up, and I mean, we had the best time. Just salt of the earth guys. They both have had some rough goes through life, but they just both came out smelling like a rose and great attitudes. Anyway, we saw them down at Eureka Springs for the Spring Fling. Had a great time, met their wives. First time I got a chance to do that. So a couple of weeks ago, he was riding home with his wife, and a deer jumped out, and he didn't make it. And his wife is in really, really bad shape. Hopefully she comes out of this deal. But it just showed he was such a positive guy that whenever I talked to him, every story had a silver lining. He was just a really good guy to talk to lift your spirits. So his funeral is this Saturday in Springfield. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get to Eureka Springs from there after the service. So hopefully I'll see you on Saturday and I can help donate to some of these wonderful kids that Charlie's been trying to help.
That will be very, very cool. We would love to see you down there. You know that. I'm going to message we'll see if Monkey's available. I'm gonna hit him up on his Instagram if he's checking it. I don't know if he has time to jump in with us or not, or if he's got kids or can or can't, but I'll send him a link just in case, because he might, I might be interested to see what he thinks about what we're going to see tomorrow on the way of the CVOs.
It would be. I'd love to hear his perspective on it.
So we'll give it a second and see if he says if he can get in or can't get in. I don't know what infuriated him, but something he saw. He just saw something infuriated him. I'm sure that'll be a good story. He's a great storyteller. He really is.
Yeah.
So he's seen the link. Let's see if he shows up or says if he can or can't join us.
Now, in the meantime, is this the what you've heard about these new bikes, these new CVOs? Is this that source that you can't tell us about?
There's multiple sources that I can't tell you about. I can't say it's the same as any other source. I will say that the announcement comes out tomorrow. So obviously the closer we get, the more people are going to know things and the more things are going to leak. And I got a beep here that sounds like I got a monkey. Hey.
I did the thing where I had multiple tabs open and I heard myself echoing at the whole thing was trippy as I joined in. So how y'all doing?
Great, man. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Been bopping around all over the place and can't stay long, but I saw you were on and we're talking about CVOs and whatnot and got all excited. So
do you want to tell us what infuriated you, or do you not want to tell that story now?
I will in so many. So I saw a video pop up about this, and it was a little clickbaity because it said, "Oh, the CEO of Harley Davidson has
resigned."
Yeah,
I saw.
And I watched it, and I'm like,
30
really?
seconds in, you're done.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? And I said the CEO of Harley resigned, and so of course Mrs. Monkey goes down the rabbit hole. She's like, she gets into it. She goes. In 3 seconds, she goes, that was contractual obligation. He fulfilled a contract. The plan was always that he would step aside. He is still the chair of Harley Davidson MoCo. There was always supposed to be a new CEO that stepped in Livewire, and that, So it's just total bullshit.
Well, and what's funny, if you follow this, because I listen to the financial calls and you know that. So There was an analyst who brought up when this all split that who's paying for his salary to be CEO of Livewire as well. And at the time, that's when they had that other investor firm in that had like 30% of it. And Harley was 70. And they're like, and he was like, well, Harley Davidson is, because they're the primary shareholder still. So they're paying my salary essentially to be CEO of both. But eventually that's going to change. So he said 6 months ago that he wasn't going to be CEO of Livewire forever. It's not, people see something, they read something into it, and they don't research. And maybe they don't have the access to the information because they probably haven't listened to every well, they might not have listened to every financial call for the last 3 years.
We just Googled it. And like the whole thing was laid out.
But that's
a lot of research, man.
Google. I'm sorry. And the reason why it bothered me is because I highly respect this individual and have consider him a friend. And I was like, what in the blue? I don't want to say the word because I don't want to demonetize your video, but I'm like, come on, man. That was
I don't monetize lives. You can say the word.
Like, what in the blue fuck? Like, why would you say something that I feel like isn't true? Like, you kind of knew it.
You knew when you wrote that title that was clickbaity.
And then did a whole video that is misrepresenting, inaccurate.
But,
and then you read the comments section and you go, man, there's some dumb motherfuckers in this world. Like, it's just the unbelievable bullshit.
I know, and I know who the person is, and I have his phone number. We've talked. He's messaged me. He messaged me and asked me how do I deal with people copying my videos, because he felt someone copied one of his videos. And I said, well, I don't do anything about it because there's nothing you can really do about it. But I recommend turning the fan on. It'll help you sleep better at night. It works for me.
Anyway, that bothered me. That really bothered. I saw it 3 minutes before I saw that you guys were live. And then immediately the wife and I were going, what? We were like yelling and about this, not at each other.
Yeah, 30 seconds and I clicked out because I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I
this is-
watched it too.
yeah, but that's the problem. And but I respect that same person, but what they're going to end up doing is building an audience who is pandering to those clickbait titles and to that drama. And I don't want my channel to be about that. In fact, I did a video and I've had several people say I'm unsubscribing because of my most recent video when I said Harley Davidson didn't go woke over her Budweiser beer can. I'm not saying I'm not saying they didn't do anything wrong or that I'm okay with Green Day or anything else, but this Budweiser beer can thing was not a response to Bud Light or Dylan Mulvaney. That's bullshit.
I will say, so you and I are pals. We're from the same part of the country. Therefore, our brains are probably wired the same. I'll tell you right now, there's a case of Harley Davidson Budweiser in my garage right now. Why? Because I am from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised, and I love Harley Davidsons. And I love the fact that there's a bar and shield and a Bud can, and I just don't care about all of this crap that has nothing to do with me or any, or my love of Harley. So when I was actually at Publix down here in Florida, walking down the beer aisle, and I was like, oh, I bet you they don't have any of that Harley beer. And at the bottom of a stack of cases of Budweiser, I saw the bar and shield on the side of one case, and I unstacked that whole display with my daughter watching, and she goes, oh, there's Harley beer down there. I'm like, that's what I'm doing. So I moved it all, and I got the Harley beer and restacked it all back, and it's in the garage. And because I have Sturgis beer, and I was like, that's a perfect addition. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drink some of them, even though I don't drink Buds. It gives me a headache like you wouldn't believe. But I'm going to drink some of them, about 6 of them, sit them in the next to my 6-packs, and I'm happy.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I've had some people tell me they weren't going to subscribe, and I'm like, okay, well, if that's the way you feel, but they get caught up, and people are using words to incite people and not using facts and not giving any rational thought to how did this happen or why are we in this situation. Harley Davidson, well, they're associating with Budweiser, so I'm not going to have anything to do with them. You weren't buying a fucking Harley Davidson anyway, if that stops you from buying a Harley Davidson. You weren't a fan to begin with. Don't give me that shit.
I think it's also the kind of guy, it's the same mindset of, you trailer to Sturgis, not a real biker. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, you're not even going to Sturgis, are you? And it's exactly the same thing. Like, you're not even going, so I don't really care, what your opinion is. Like, Jay Sorensby just got in the chat, but we had that Mid-America Freedom Rally, and that's 1,000 old school bikers. And I didn't see anybody there bitching about anybody's beer and what they were drinking. Instead, they were all busy playing bike games, looking at titties, and, listening to music and having a goddamn good time. Yeah.
That's, that they're not caught up in this whole, political drama, drag it out. How can we stir the shit pot?
Culture war-ish stuff that has nothing to do with any of us. Well,
and like I said, I don't, I'm not a fan of Green Day's political, views, but the fact is they have a platform. They can use it the same as you can use your channel, or I can use my channel to promote whatever we want.
And you deal with the repercussions of whatever you said. That, that's how that goes.
Right. But it's not, this whole thing of, well, Harley Davidson should, not have anything to do with Budweiser because Bud Light did this. Well, that'd be like saying you got to not be best friends with your best friend because it turned out his cousin's gay.
How'd you know it was?
That's a lot of work to find out whose cousin is gay. I don't know. That's too much effort. But
I mean, if you're business partners and you've been partnering together for years and doing stuff together, and their cousin does some dumbass shit, do you just say screw you and that's it? That's like telling your friends, oh, I can't be your friend because I think your cousin's gay.
It is just bizarre. We actually got into this on a live we did last Friday, and I've said it, I'll say it again. I don't care whose family feelings get hurt. that we throw around words like snowflake and fragile and this, that, and the other. I don't know what happened. I missed the meeting when the biker world, where two things happened. A, we started loving cops. I missed that one. I missed the whole like, man, do I love police officers. Like I grew up around bikers that are like, yeah, they're not on the same side as us. Like that, there's number one. And number two, when did we become so fragile that anything we don't like, we just melt down like a damn child? Like I don't understand it. I don't get it. You just wipe that crap clean and move on and work on your shovel head and have a big old smile. I don't get it.
Right. I mean, I tell people all the time that I got thick skin. They can leave me shitty comments, hate stuff, whatever. I'm not losing any sleep over it, so I'm not losing sleep over this either. I mean, some people thought I had, very good, well thought out. I changed some people's minds. Some people didn't, but the people I didn't were going to change their mind no matter what, So it doesn't matter. But so CVOs are coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you got any predictions? You got any predictions?
My only prediction is that, well, actually I have a couple.
You give me your predictions and I'll tell you if I think you're close or not.
I think that it's about, life's about to get a lot harder for mechanics.
Yeah.
Because we like our bikes that are basically built like John Deere tractors you can just throw a cam into. But if you get variable valve timing and stuff, which I'm no expert, that shit just got complicated, right? Like
right. Now the valve timing is controlled by a computer.
Yeah, that's something different. And also you got the whole EPA thing. That's a whole other thing. My other prediction is, and I'm sure you look at stuff closer than I do, but I've seen a couple shots where it shows. So the thumbnails we've got now, if you go to harleydavidson.com, they're extremely monotone and very black and white, washed out, uninteresting, et cetera, et cetera. And I find them sad. When I first saw them, I was like, wow, that is a not special motorcycle other than the different body stuff. I love the new lighting on the Batwing. I actually like it. I think it's very cool looking. Not so much on the Road Glide, but I think, okay, I get it. They had to change, et cetera, et cetera. But I've seen some of these little flashes of imagery where that Street Glide has color in the fairing. And I saw that quick flash over of that like colorful 60s chopper badassery. And I went, wow, that might be something special. That might not be at all what we're seeing on the website, which that got me fired up. I'm like, dude, I would buy a 60s chopper themed, super high tech, very cool bike. Now, I hate the fact that you can't make it lope easily. And that digital dash thing reminds me of my wife's Audi. And I hate that car in a way I cannot possibly express. I hate my wife's car. It's all screens. It doesn't have any switches or buttons, the whole thing. And she hates it too. So I have issues there. But I also get that that's the latest in tech. And so what will be, you tell me, a $65,000 bike out the door probably?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be,
something like that. It better have the best tech.
Yeah.
So
did you guys see where Matt Laidlaw was?
If you read,
I was just going to say, did you guys see I watched Matt Laidlaw the other day, and he was talking to that. I can't remember his. He's had a channel for a long time. The other guy, anyway. He must know enough. He is seriously thinking about pulling the trigger on one of these new CVOs. So they must have hit a lot of the right buttons on this thing.
Well, here's what we know from the press release. Says new dramatic new visual designs, which is the Batwing, the bags, some of that. We knew that. Yep. Milwaukee 8 variable valve timing 121 engine, so 4 cubic inches. Mm-hmm. It says all new suspension. We know it's got inverted front forks in the front, but we don't know what they've got in the back. A lot of people are screaming for monoshock. They say they can see an adjustment knob. I've heard there's an adjustment knob, but it's not monoshock. But I've heard people say, early on it was monoshock, but I've heard recently it wasn't monoshock. So that's going to be what I want to find out tomorrow is the monoshock.
Me too.
All new infotainment center. It's got Apple CarPlay. It's got, if you watch one of the teasers they came out with a few weeks ago, you can see it S in red, which is the same exact icon they use for the Pan America Sport mode, and the Nightster S and all those. So it's got riding modes like sport, not just rain and stuff like that. That's going to be integrated in. I am curious to find out if it still has built-in GPS or if it runs off your phone, because the Pan America runs off your phone. The Nightster S runs off your phone. They require a phone for navigation. A lot of European bikes do that.
Indians require your phone. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's the way of the future or if they kept GPS. I personally hope they kept GPS. I don't hook my phone up to my radio. Yeah. I don't want the motherfucker ringing and dinging and beeping every time I go down the road. I've got just a music player hooked up to it that plays music, and it doesn't have self-service. It doesn't do nothing else. I hook it up to Wi-Fi to update the music, and that's it.
I think some of it could be price point stuff too, right? Because so my truck, I have a 22 Denali 3500 diesel. Even though it has CarPlay, that some bitch better have built-in GPS for what I paid for it, right? And I kind of feel like at that price point, even if I'm never going to use it, it damn well better have GPS built in. What does it cost?
Well, and what happened?
$150? I mean, I don't know.
Right, and we still get into places where you have no cell service and things like that, and do you really want to have to worry about your phone being charged or overheating or anything else to have your other systems that are triggered by that? Because you leave your phone on the dash too long in a pickup truck going down the road and it'll shut off. That's just all there is to it. Same thing can happen in a box in the bike. The other thing we know is it's going to be offered with 2 paint finish options. That's all the press release says. So is that going to be chrome and blacked out and 2 paint jobs? It says 2 paint finish options.
Well, that's typical CVO. Like the year of my wife's 19, they had the Mako Shark or hers. Actually, no, I take it back. There's a weird year. They had hers that was red and silver, and then they also had the Mako Shark. So I guess there was 3, but one was really the same. But it's like, you know what I mean? Though, so that's not that different.
No. Now I predicted, and I've heard I was right, that there's water cooling. Now I don't know if it's going to be just around the exhaust port like the other Milwaukee 8 touring bikes, but if you look at that oil cooler area, there's 2 different layers of mesh, like 2 different designs of honeycomb mesh in there. So I assume one is oil and one is water. And there's probably 2 different radiators.
Did you see the same little bit I did where it looked awful 60s choppery on the Batwing fairing as the camera flew over it real quick? Or
I don't know if I've seen that one. I do have, I have their high res photos. I don't know. I can probably share that here.
I just hope that those interesting new designs don't come out on a bike that's effing gray with a black motor like that. That's what we see in those big. I'm like, it can't be just that. I refuse to believe that CVOs look like. We did a video this week where we went to a local metric dealer, and see, that is boring as hell.
Yes.
I mean, the design, the new shape is cool, and I like the lighting. And the wheel is not new, but
that'd be fun for a special.
Do you see what I'm talking about there in the mesh, though, where the oil cooler is? We've got 2 different patterns.
There's something going on there.
And it's definitely bigger than it was. Of course, Brembo brakes.
Well, if it's VVT, then it's going to be liquid cool, right? I mean, you're going to liquid cool a motor like that.
The original patent for VVT didn't say it would be liquid cool, but yeah, I mean, and it's VVT. There you can see the VVT on the logo.
We all know that. Yeah.
Now, the one thing I thought was funny, so the transmission bolt pattern here, you see, it looks like 2. Yeah, there's 2 recessed holes here. That does not match current transmission. So I don't know what's going on there.
You think CVT?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I haven't got an answer to that one yet. Brembo brakes. Obviously, the bags are different design. We knew that squared off in the back.
That's a contour to it.
Yeah, it's more like the performance bags that people have been building and putting out for the last 5 years, instead of extended bags. Different air cleaner, all that stuff, but
that looks
inverted
to me
front
like
forks.
Sorry.
I said inverted front forks, like you said.
And there's the body lines in the tank. You can see the tank is actually shaped. That's different metal.
That's
Right.
it's a different shape of a tank
Yeah.
than.
Well, and it looks like the saddlebags
Yeah.
have some contour in them as well. They're not a flat side.
It
Do you
does
think-
look like all the body panels are different. The tank is different.
Yeah.
The side covers are different. That's not the same shape. The bags are different. So there could be something going on in the rear end there in the frame. Everything looks a little different under there.
Now, Monkey, you talked earlier about that it might be harder for techs to work on it. Do you think maybe these changes are designed to help techs make it easier?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So, does anybody see an adjustable knob in here anywhere?
No.
My suck.
It's Photoshopped to hell. So, I mean,
That looks like a bolt right there, but that's about it. I mean, I can't see anything in this cavity.
you're going to Photoshop that area because if you look at my bike under there, it's just a shit show of wires and cables and crap. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
But I have heard the adjustable knob does exist.
huh?
But I also heard the same person said they didn't think it was a
Big investment.
monoshock.
That to redesign the rear frame is a big cash outlay. So
Yeah.
that I don't know, you might save that because now you've got different forks, different engine, different tins. I don't know. It's a lot of money to also change the swing arm design and everything else too. So,
Well,
mm,
JS said that the knob is usually on the clutch side, but isn't it on the throttle side on your Sport Glide, honey?
Yes.
Side? Yeah.
Yep.
So on her Sport Glide, the adjustment's on the throttle side.
really,
And
on the B side, on the angle down. Okay, that's weird.
I think
Gotcha.
I think
I'll
so.
go
I mean,
look. Hang on.
she'll
I'm
just
pretty
walk out in
sure.
the garage and look. It's that easy.
But it's if that is the bike, that to me is a bit of a bummer because there's a ton of shape changes and tech changes and stuff, but that's just a gray bike with a black motor.
Yeah, it's on the throttle side.
So on her Softail, it's on the throttle side.
Yeah.
So, this is definitely, this is from their press site, from their first press announcement. So outside of photoshopping or coloring or things like that, it's pretty close.
Yeah. So it'll have a power windshield. You can see the mounts up there. You can see the little attachment points.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I love the turn signals. I love the LED strips. And
I
the
do
back.
too.
There's a lot of things I really like. I emailed our friend at Harley, Mike, and he said, "Do you want to ride one during Sturgis?" And I said, "Fuck yeah!"
you know what? Was that this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not be the first one to have told him that this week.
I'm like, yeah, I want to ride one of them things. I want it for a little bit, though, not a few minutes.
He said they would be over in Deadwood because we're staying down just past Lead. He says, "Oh, you have to come over. We'll have a demo truck. We might be able to get you on a demo bike for the day." I said, "New CVO would be awesome." It was first response out of my mouth.
I get there the 31st, so
You'll get there before me. You can break it in and just I'll ride the same one you rode. Whatever.
break it in.
I don't
I
mind.
want to do a burnout.
As long as-
I want to take the brand new CVO no one's ever ridden before and roach the tire off the damn thing.
Hey, just don't
and
get it all the way.
take it back, go, this one's broke.
I need a little traction left because it rains sometimes up there.
Yeah. This one needs a tire and the lights on in the dash. I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's got this ABS warning. It says something's broke.
Mm. No, we know how to clear the codes. We can just clear the codes. It's all right.
You got to find the ODB connection on this thing. It may be different now.
Yeah. Well,
may-
if it uses the same hold the info
Something,
and
yeah.
then turn the ignition on, you can clear them that way too. But
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, you want to make a prediction on price?
I think people are going to be paying $65 out the door.
Do you think MSRP will be in the 60s, or you think that's what people are going to pay?
I think what people are going to pay. I think that MSRP will be mid 50s.
Okay.
I'm pulling that from my rear with no knowledge or information. I'm just, but
Yeah. So I think, isn't the Road Glide limited around 52?
oh, the 120th CVO?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
120.
no.
It's around
People are
52.
paying 60 for that.
Right, but I think isn't MSRP around 52 for it?
Oh, Jay says 55.
I don't know. This is going to be hot. This is going to be more expensive than that bike.
Dealers are going to be able to
But
just
this,
name
but
their
this
price.
isn't 120th anniversary. It's just a CVO. But this,
Yeah, but
it
this
does
particular
so much
one we're
new
looking at doesn't.
technology.
There is this big thing about being first. That rich people, God, I hate them. Gotta hate them. But rich people are going to be like, I'll give you 90 grand to be the first on my douchebag block to have it. Like,
Yeah.
so that there'll be people writing big crazy checks.
Here's our friend Mike Bowman, who works on automobiles and everything else and has some experience with VVT. And he says it works great when it works. But when you go install larger cams, the aftermarket will have a kit to delete it and tune it out. That's what happened in the automotive industry.
So fueling, zippers, S&S, all of them will be on it that day. They're saving up to buy one. Be like, first bikes are going to go to those companies because they'll just name your price. They'll tell the dealer, name your number because there's millions to be made, right?
Right. So I'm trying to find the CVO Road Glide Limited. MSRP is 52 before surcharges and freight and all that bullshit.
Okay.
So you think it's going to be the same, less, or more than 120th anniversary 117?
More.
You think so? I'm thinking it's almost got to be less because it's a Road Glide limited 120th anniversary.
Right. These are not 120th anniversary bikes. These are CVOs, Street Glide Special, CVO Road Glide Special. They're not the limited. Usually the limited runs you a little more because of the tour pack, and they charge you more for the special paint on the limited than they do the Street Glide or the Road Glide because of the paint on the tour pack.
And now, liquid cool and yeah.
Right. So I think these are going to be, I'm going to guess at 48, not being 120th anniversary edition. If they're just a CVO, not 120th anniversary edition, I'm going to guess 48's going to be MSRP, 4,000 or 5,000 less than the anniversary edition.
I just figured more because they changed the design.
I'm going to go higher as well. I think they've answered a lot of
the MSRP. I just think you're going to have rich douchebags paying 20 grand over to be.
And I agree with that too.
Right, but so if you are a consumer and this bike is priced at 52 and it comes with the tour pack and a nicer paint job, and it doesn't have inverted front forks and it doesn't have 4 cubic inches. But otherwise, there's not that much difference if you really look at it. It's a new design, but it's just a different design. It's not, it's got a different display and it's got a different windshield, but not everybody's going to want that. A lot of people, in fact, are not going to want variable valve timing because if they're going to want to build the motor, they'd probably just soon have the 117 that's already figured out than a 121 that there's no parts or kits for. And the whole electronic windshield, some people aren't going to want that. You got some people
there's this whole population of first. I want to be first,
right?
And they aren't really purists, and they're not. They don't really care.
Right,
they just want to have.
Right, but I think that's what people are going to pay is the people that want to be first. But I think for Harley Davidson, for a pricing structure, can they really price this more than a 120th anniversary bike? Just because it's got inverted front forks and a different windshield and different display.
Oh yeah, no, valid point. Yeah,
I think they have to be careful about if they price it above the 52,000 mark. How many people are going to just say, "Well, I'd rather have that one. It's got a tour pack, it's got a better paint job, and so I have 5 less horsepower or whatever."
But you can't get one of those 120th Road Glide limit. They're gone. They're sold.
No.
So it's not really a competitor. Like it
may be.
Alligator Alley got one, and I know the salesman very well. I bought so many bikes, and he's always like, "Yeah, that's not really available." Like they'll put it on social media. here it is. That sucker was sold months ago. So, that's not really what is going on here.
Hey, Mike,
Yes,
will you
ma'am.
zoom in on the wheel on that? Can you get closer? So is that like wire?
So it's
Oh.
Spokes.
it's kind of a spoke wheel, but it's a tubeless spoke wheel, I'm sure.
Okay.
Just because, see, the spokes don't tie at the rim; they are on these edges up
Okay.
here. So
Right.
it'll still be a tubeless tire.
That's what
When
I
you
was
when
trying
you
to
when you
see.
say monkey, that's what that is, like the Pan America
Yeah.
spoke wheel kind of design or whatever. In fact, somebody said this wheel already existed on
Yeah, that's
a
the
Road
old
Glide.
CBO wheel. That's not
Yeah.
a new wheel. That's
Yeah.
the 2021 spoke mag wheel that's been out for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's only.
what it
I
looks
think
like.
I think only the Road Glide, when I looked it up after somebody corrected me, was the only bike that had it before. Like they only did it in the 21 instead of the 19-inch wheel.
Yeah,
I'm not a
CBO
fan of
Road
it,
Glide.
personally.
Yeah.
Not a big fan
Okay.
of it.
Anything else you want to
Those
see?
wheels are cool in person, I think.
What do you think of the air cleaner? Because I think it's kind of fucking ugly.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to get replaced. They're going to put an S&S on it, right?
Yeah.
And cams and delete the variable valve timing and pay more to do it.
Yeah, it's. I just wonder what it's going to do to the bottom end of the motor, like it's different casings, etc. Still, even if you delete, look at that cam cover. I mean, like that's the casings have a different shape, so there's going to need to be serious work done
In the
to
aftermarket
design.
world.
Like the SNS 475 is going to need a whole redesign to fit that casing.
Right. So the guys that, like I said, the guys that want to build a motor may not want to jump right on this because they may not be able to do a lot right out of the gate. I know my buddy bought, the first year of the M8, he bought a Street Glide a year after I did, and he had to wait 8 or 9 months to get exhaust for it after it was out because nobody had exhaust for it out the gate.
Not to sound like a geriatric old bastard, but I am so excited that I have a non-catalytic converter, straight pipe, head pipe on my 114 with a big ass cam in it and loud ass pipes that you are not going to be able to get for these bikes. And I'm normally actually an early adopter. I'm normally kind of like, oh, cool, they've got a new motor. When the Milwaukee 8 came out, I was one of the first dudes who wanted to ride it. And then I jumped on it and went, wow, that runs cooler and smoother. And like, that's a better motor. I can see its potential. But I look at this and go, no, I'm real happy that I have an illegal, you can't do it again tomorrow bike. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really excited for my bike now more than ever.
So I've got a, me and Firecracker, since last time we did a live, I got to talk to you. I think you knew she had a purple Dyna. She doesn't have a purple Dyna anymore.
She got a purple sport glide.
Right. And now I have a purple Dyna.
He's just holding it. He's just holding on to it till I want it back.
So I sold both of the DRs and bought her purple Dyna. And I paid her cash, and I was waiting to sell the second bike and was going to pay her the rest of the cash. And we made a deal because I love her so much that when I got a chance to buy a direct link race tuner code, I went ahead and did so for her bike because I already have one for mine, race tuner. So I was able to scob one for hers a month ago. So I got the license already. And so now we've got to put exhaust and an intake on it so that so it's worth doing the tune. So the deal is now I've got to get her slip-ons and intake and pay for the tune instead of paying her the last $1,000 on the Dyna.
There you go.
So that's how we're trading that
take
out.
all those tins off and rattle can a John Deere Blitz Black, and put it back together, and then you have yourself a rat bike kind of,
So I'm
You
remember
gloss over that like I didn't say it.
Yeah, no. In one ear and right out the other. I've got this force field that just blocked all that out. But on her Sport Glide, I think I'd mentioned it to you. I'd messaged you about exhaust and stuff. The tabs that you talk about and stuff, they don't have a catalytic converter in the slip-ons, and her Sport Glide does not have a catalytic converter in the head pipe. So if I put so I put one of their slip-ons on there, I've got no cat. I've decatted.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that's what we're going to do. $350 slip-on muffler. She picked out a $200 Arlen Ness.
No, actually, my friends did because they thought that one was better than
She
what
liked
I liked.
she liked one of the S and S's, and we liked the Arlen Ness better. And she put it to a vote, and everybody voted for the Arlen Ness. So I have to get her an Arlen Ness intake, and then go get it tuned.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to have that done already.
Well, I haven't updated my media content to send to people and say, hey, do you want to work with a YouTuber and do a collaboration?
That stuff's increasingly difficult. And the funny thing is, I find myself, I've since the channel over the last couple of years, I've made a lot of new friends that are just fantastic, like old school dudes that do vintage bikes. And I find myself more and more attracted to that. Like I don't know why. Like you hang out with those guys, hang out with the chopper guys, hang out with the vintage bike guys, and they're incredibly nice and welcoming. And I'm so eager to learn. It's been really cool to hang around that crowd, like, and then I built my chopper. And so now I'm talking to all these dudes that are like telling me, oh, you did this really well. This I would have done differently. And so I'm changing some stuff and, but I find myself going, I want a shovel head so bad I could die. Like, I mean, like that's what I want so bad as an old bike. And so I'm finding myself going the other way.
Well, and that's why I bought her 2000 Dyna. I need to do suspension on it and a few other things, but I'm going to do suspension on it. Maybe I'll even look at what it takes to convert it to put an FXRT style fairing on it and, put really good suspension on it and tour on a 25-year-old Dyna just to prove that you can.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I was distracted by my phone. That's one of the things when I do these live, sometimes people will be like, I'll get these messages from people I know who are silently in the side chat somewhere, not commenting, but they're sending me texts. So I think we can safely say that those CVOs will be MSRP priced less than the Road Glide Limited.
CVO.
The CVOs that we were talking about coming out tomorrow that are not anniversary editions should be priced less than that CVO Road Glide Limited.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, it's just hard to price anything equal or more that's not a limited CVO, right? I mean, like the same model year CVO limited should always be more than, right?
Typically, if it wasn't for these changes, the CVO Street Glide and Road Glide would always be less than the Road Glide Limited.
Right.
But because of these changes, you start to wonder, but then you got to remember this CVO Road Glide Limited this year's 120th anniversary with special paint. So
that color is something, man. I'm sure you've seen it. That I don't know what they call it, but that black red color on that 120th, not the regular 120th, the CVO Road Glide Limited 120th is one of the prettiest colors I've ever seen. Well, like it's amazing.
Honey, we have to go do the passport run at Bike Fest this year. So I don't know how we're going to figure that out, but we got to go do it.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I need to find out. I'll have to find out if we have to be present to win. I don't think we do because
no, you don't have to be present
because they're giving away 120th anniversary heritage brand new on the passport run this year.
Okay, well, we don't have the whole Bike Fest, remember? So we got to make time for what we do have.
Well, that's okay.
Thanks to my son.
I know. But, we can send somebody to finish our passport cards and turn them in for us if we have to. We don't know anybody that's ever done that before, have we, Firecracker?
No.
So, but yeah, they're giving away this year. They're giving away 3 bikes at Bike Fest. They're giving away a brand new 120th anniversary heritage, and then 2 little CF Moto bikes or something. I don't know if they're coming from a different dealership or what, but I saw Bike Fest advertise them on Facebook. So,
dude, we did that video this week where we went to the local metric dealer and looked at Hondas and Yamahas and stuff, and I felt like a kid again. I did. Like they had Honda Trail 125s, and I looked like a bear in a roller skate, and I don't care. I want this so bad. It's $4,000, and it's like an AK-47 motorcycle. Like it just, you can't break it. God, I would try though. I would try to break it, but I don't know, man. I fell in love with that little sucker.
I was hoping that you'd get on a Kawasaki Vaquero. That would be the one Japanese bike that
They didn't have one, but yeah,
Okay.
that's a nice bike, a legitimately nice
Yeah.
bike.
it is.
Yeah. So Ricer, 87 Ricer asked if we're going to be at the Ozarks HD event Saturday. We will be missing that. They're having their 25th anniversary party thing at the local Harley dealer for us, but we're going to be at Eureka Springs. So we're going to miss out on that. Jeff from the Cat House has invited us to come down and be a part of the Ozark Mountain Rumble Rally. We were talking about that, Monkey, before you got on. That raises money directly for the Eureka Springs school kids through a counselor's fund. So all the money that they can raise selling shirts and hamburgers and hot dogs and whatever else at the rally this weekend will all help benefit local kids in the Eureka Springs School District. So that's where me and Firecracker will be hanging out this weekend. But if you're not going to Eureka Springs and you're in the Ozarks, Lake of the Ozarks Harley Davidson is got an event going on there, and our friends from the Routes and Rallies is given away. They worked with Lake Ozark Harley Davidson, and they're going to draw somebody's name who's going to win a free guided trip to Milwaukee for the 120th anniversary. Ozark or American Routes and Rallies will be taking someone along on that trip, sponsored by Lake of the Ozark Harley Davidson. So that'd be kind of cool. Me and Firecracker put our name in there. I don't know what she's going to do if she wins, and I don't get to go.
I'm going without you.
That was not the answer, but that's the answer.
That was not the answer.
That was not the answer, but that's the answer. I'll see her when she gets there because I'll just have to be sick and beat her there.
Now, I've messaged Monkey several times about this. What are the chances down the road you could either not go to Sturgis or shorten Sturgis and then throw in Lake of the Ozark Bike Fest or Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue into your plans? Is that ever a possibility?
I think it's a real strong possibility in 20 years when I retire. And I can just bop around and do whatever I want. But right now,
what if you were to fly in on a Friday afternoon and somebody had a bike for you to ride? Then fly
that
out
could
on
be
Sunday.
a thing.
That could be a thing.
But it would be like flying into St. Louis and then having to get, it's a whole.
There's a puddle jumper from St. Louis to Lake of the Ozarks. I'm sure they have an airstrip
Not
at
that
Lake
far.
of the Ozarks.
I'd rather just go into St. Louis, grab a bike, and ride there.
Pick up a bike at Big St. Charles. Get Big St. Charles to rent to sponsor a bike for
do
you.
They have an Eagle Rider at Big St. Charles.
They do.
Oh,
They do.
So
Yep,
you could get Eagle Rider loading you a bike, get somebody to sponsor you to fly into St. Louis, and you could be at Lake of the Ozarks in 3 hours from St. Louis or less.
Dude, nobody sponsors me doing shit.
Hey, now I know personally you've had at least one offer to somebody to help get you to an event.
That is true. That is true. But that was through a good friend of mine that I will not mention because he's on this live.
So,
but that's yeah. I mean, so when your channel gets to a certain size, Harley's normally friendly about Eagle Rider rentals, but no one's ever offered to send me anywhere. So I'm too fat and unattractive, I guess.
I don't know. We'll see. I know people in this area that might be enticed to get you to the event. And so maybe we can find somebody.
That'd be a blast. That would be a blast to fly into St. Louis, grab a bike. The funny thing is, I know it's cheaper to do this, and that's the way I would do it. I want to ride. I don't want to fly to. I want to fly into St. Louis and grab a bike and ride. I don't want to,
I wonder. There's probably no direct flights to Springfield. Springfield's got a pretty cheap airport too, but I don't know.
Fort Wood does too.
Yeah, but you probably can't get a direct flight. You'll have to.
I can't get a direct flight to St. Louis from Palm Beach.
Oh,
Palm Beach is always through North Carolina or through, I think, Dallas, but it's always, we're coming into St. Louis for 4th of July just to see family, and we have to go through North Carolina. We have to go through Charlotte. So.
Well, we'll figure these things out in the future. Maybe we can figure something out. I don't think.
That'd be a blast, yeah. If it's coming in, not even on a Friday, if it's coming in on a Thursday.
Just taking one day.
Sunday, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what we can figure out about that. I might, we might, whether it be get you into Fayetteville to do Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue for a Friday and Saturday, or Get
Yeah.
to the bike fest or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
So we speaking of Sturgis, I gotta figure out, we'll have to get with you and figure out what day when. I know you're gonna have some scheduled stuff going on, but we do want to hook up and come see you at the campground sometime.
The whole schedule I just put out in the video today, not saying like watch the video. I don't mean like that. I mean but what day do you guys get there?
We get there on Sunday evening, afternoon, and then we'll have to leave out on Saturday morning. So we'll be there Monday through Friday of the official week.
So you're gonna be there like the 6th.
I don't think
I'm
so. Is that
looking.
in the 6th, the weekend.
We'll be there on the 6th. Is that Sunday?
We'll
Yeah.
get there on the 6th.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
I
we'll
should be
leave
there
on
Friday
the.
and Saturday, maybe Sunday.
So the 6th, you get there on the 6th. Well, on the 7th, there you go, is the old school biker show. I'm sorry, old school chopper show at the Full Throttle.
Oh, we should go to
Yeah.
that.
And
Putting
then
brown sugar in there.
I don't know, man. That's like my bike doesn't really stack up to those things. You know, like the bikes that are gonna be in the show. Old school, mine's 35 years old, but to a lot of those dudes, it may as well be made last week.
Right.
You know, like they're like, it's a divorced iron head, or it's a, it's a pan or whatever. Like, mine's an Evo. Now, if you're into Evos, it's interesting because the bottom end is iron head. It's a 4-speed. So the bottom end is like 70s. The top end is 80s all the way through 90. 91 was the new year. Mine's a 90. But so the old school choppers was the 7th. I won't probably take mine to that. The night of the 6th is Leonard Skinner at the Buffalo Chip.
So is that why you were asking if we were going to be there on the 6th?
Yeah, I was thinking because I'll send you a link that you could do an application for media people.
Okay. Send me a link because last time we got in on the 6th. I mean, we came through in the afternoon and we were in the house and we shopped and got groceries and stuff. We only had to do 300 miles that morning and do Badlands. So, if we do it like that, we'll stay at like Mitchell, get up early, hit the Badlands early, and then roll on in because we want everybody to see the Badlands on the way in.
And I would love to see Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, how many more years can they have of like last year? I mean, like, you can only do that so many times, you know?
Yes. Send me a link for that and we'll see what we can do because we will get into town on the 6th. And nobody's asked me to be anywhere for anything yet. So I don't have any like commitments other than we wanted to get to meet and hang out with you and the missus. We haven't got to meet the missus yet. And, maybe I'll get to do a demo bike for a day or something from Harley if that works out.
I just put it in the private chat.
Right on.
I'll be coming in from Wyoming. Should get there on Friday, Saturday. Hope to be around Sunday, maybe Monday. That'd be the max. But I'd love to run into you again and say hi.
We'll be at a lot of things so our campground is the Steel Pony right there across from Glencoe and right up the street from the Chip. And they have I'm telling you what, last year I went to a couple of chopper events at the Pony, wasn't staying there, and I fell in love with the place because the people, if you're like me and you've ridden to the Chip at night, there's always this line of people in rocking chairs laughing at you, drinking. That's the Steel Pony.
Yeah.
Like they have bars, there's pools, there's hot tubs. It's just a fun place that thankfully hasn't gotten well known yet. It's on the old Full Throttle grounds before it burned down in 15. I'm sorry, after it burned down in 15. So it's a fun place. And so we're staying there first time this year, but we'll also be able to hop right around to the Buffalo Chip in a quarter mile. And in Glencoe's across the street. Like, I'm not going to walk it, but you could. You know?
Right.
When we went, we didn't get to go to the Buffalo Chip or nothing. So that's something I didn't get to see any of that stuff. So I want to go see that.
It's really cool. I'm excited for you to see the Buffalo Chip. Like it's a town of its own, literally. I think it has its own township now. And you'll go to the amphitheater where the giant stage is, and all around it is every food you can imagine. There's friggin' Derringer pistol companies are there, like showing their latest wares. And there's a steakhouse and there's a tattoo shop, and it's really a cool place. And hanging out, I can't remember what band it was last year. The wife and I went up to the top and just got a beer, and I just turned to my left, and I was face to face with Billy Lane.
Oh wow!
I'm just like, there's a picture of me going like looking at Billy Lane. Like I can only describe it as that. So
Yeah.
It's a really cool place. I like it. We're not staying this year, but we love it to death. So
Friends of mine stayed at the Still Pony last year. Loved it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm also looking forward to that. So that we're doing a pre-rally thing. It's a bummer you guys won't be there yet. But the Thursday night, the 3rd, I had to look at my own calendar. We're doing a pre-rally, first time ever. Me and Jasmine Kane are like, let's do a thing on that Thursday night, the 3rd, at Kickstands is where she's at, which is Pleasant Valley Road and 90. So it's like the back gravel road to the chip. The very first thing when you get off the road is Kickstands Campground.
Right.
And I've never been there, but I've always heard awesome stuff about it. And Jasmine is playing there multiple times and staying there and stuff. So we're doing let's do a pre-rally. So the night before, we're going to just tear it up, have food, and she's going to perform. And it'll be small. I know it. There won't be a ton of people because it's the night before the rally starts. But I still think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. That might be the thing I'm looking forward to most, like that night. So.
Well,
Last year you did a deal with, I think, a guy that's involved in your organization that won't be named in Pierre. Are you not doing that this year?
No, because, well, first off, we friendly, lovingly left in January. We stepped away from the organization. I've never done a video about it because I don't know. It just felt like family business. You know what I mean? Like, but in January we stepped away. Nothing bad. Just
Sure.
And then so he's still a close friend of ours in Pierre. I'm getting there too early. Like I'm gonna go past Pierre before his bike night would happen and all that stuff. There's one on the way home. As a matter of fact, Jasmine is playing it on her way out of Sturgis. So I don't know if this could work, but I'd kind of love to make it to where that's my departure. Like I go to Pierre on the way home and stay the night, but it's not. I don't know if it could work. But he's a pal, and that place is called the Grey Goose, and food's awesome. Bartenders are great. The regulars, you see them just like reach around and grab a beer and go put this on my tab. One of those kind of places, like it's and it's a small town, even though I think it's the state capital.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'd love to do that. I just don't know if it'll work out,
And their governor is smoking hot.
Sorry?
I said, and their governor is smoking hot. I'm just saying.
So the wife goes home on the 9th. I have considered going home either the 9th or the 10th. Like, she'll be gone, so why don't I just start the trek home? It's 4 days to get home, so.
Well, we're leaving the morning of the 12th, which is actually my birthday. So we'll be leaving Sturgis on my birthday. So I'll spend my birthday riding 700 miles, 600 miles, whatever.
It's a good present.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Mine's the 5th. So we'll be there
that's right.
on my birthday. Well, yeah. So
I knew there was something else I liked about you.
Well, the funny thing is you don't want to make it too public because the problem is if you're at Sturgis on your birthday, like I am every year, every person's like, I'm going to buy you a shot. You're like, please don't buy me a shot. Like, like it's like, I love you to death. Please don't do that because I'm going to be face down in an hour. Like,
Right. So.
You know what I'm doing? I need to sign off because I hear the wife out there, and it's probably time. I have a call for work in 6 hours, so that'll be good.
That'll be fun. All right. Well, we'll stay in touch about Sturgis and
Absolutely.
other things. Appreciate the info and the link you just sent me. That looks interesting. We'll see if I can make that work. And
does it include me in it?
I don't know.
Do 2. Make sure you do 2, bud. There's got to be 1 for each person.
Okay.
I do it for Mrs. also, so
I'll just tell them that she's part of my channel.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Co-host.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Love you all
All
to
right.
death. Be good.
Yep. All right,
See
brother.
ya.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
See you. Bye. All right, guys. I think we've covered the CVO stuff. So, predictions are under 50,000 for price, water cooling. Don't know about the mono shock yet. I don't know.
I'm still going to say it's going to be higher than that, based on certain criteria. If it's on the bike, if it's got a monoshock in the back and some other things,
Well,
I'm going to say it's going to be higher. But I think we're in the right price point.
well, my sources say you're wrong.
And whoever your source is, he or she has been right quite a bit. So
Well, I don't have one. I don't have just one. I mean, when I talked about the Harley Davidson Budweiser thing, I confirmed that with two different locations, that there was evidence in writing that this relationship was in play long before the, Dylan Mulvaney thing happened. That didn't have nothing to do with, Budweiser didn't come to Harley and say, "Hey, we need to man up our image. Can you all, throw your logo on our beer can?" That's not how that works.
Yeah. I talked to a guy this weekend that's in the knows a lot. And he also said the same thing. He said, this thing's been in the works for almost a year. So.
Yep. Oh, Jerry Breeding's an Leo also.
Hey,
So, yeah.
so have you seen any of those beer cans around here for sale?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Well, we probably need to go look for some and buy some. I would like
Absolutely.
to have some.
We'll put it on the shelf with our rainbow flag. She barely even blinked. She
Hey,
didn't
I'll
think
tell
that
you
was
what.
funny.
It's a cool fucking can.
That's right.
I mean, it looks badass.
Well, I want to thank you guys all for being part of the stream, hanging out with us, talking rallies, talking CVOs. We'll find out if I'm right tomorrow, if we got water cooling, if we're under 50K. And the biggest thing that I'm still, I've heard monoshock, I've heard not monoshock. That's the thing I'm waiting to see tomorrow. That'll be the biggest thing. I think, like all events, every time we have this with Harley, and I've learned this after 3 years, we're not gonna get as much as we expect. Every time they have an event, we all bitch and moan and complain, and we're all disappointed because we all expect too much, and they never do that. Scott Mullins said they sold the cans
Well,
at the
God
rally.
damn it, Scott, you should have bought me one.
Well, I've already got like my script for tomorrow's video half written or more. I mean, there's certain things I know, like I know the stats on the CVO Road Glide that we have now. So I got to fill in the blanks and compare this to that, because I think that's really, these are the CVOs for this year. So how does it compare to the one we already have? Is it going to, is the suspension going to be that much better, or is it just different, different display? Yeah. I mean, but I don't know if the display is enough to warrant a bigger price tag when it's not a 120th anniversary paint job. I mean, those paint jobs are $4,000 or $5,000.
I haven't heard anything about the frame either. Supposedly Indian's aluminum frame on the Challenger is supposed to be so awesome.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. You know why? Because the fucking Indian Challenger doesn't weigh any less. So, I get that say that, but what is so great about the aluminum frame if you don't get a weight savings from it? I mean, how fat and heavy would the Indian Challenger be if it didn't have the aluminum frame? So I guess that's my thing is, what do we get from that? If we get an aluminum frame, does it cost us more money? And if it doesn't save us weight, then why do we do it?
Yeah.
So I mean, people say that stuff about the aluminum frame, but I don't really, you have to have that realization that what's it get you in the end that makes it worthwhile. And I don't see, the only thing it does with Indian is keep it from getting even heavier, because it is not any lighter than the Harley Davidson, even though it's got an aluminum frame and inverted front forks, and all the Polaris fanboys want to say it's made with better parts and whatever else. I've rode it. I wasn't that excited about it.
Have you ridden one?
I rode the Pursuit this year. You ask April, we were at a concert at the Encore, and one of the Indian sales guys caught me in the crowd. He's like, "Hey, come ride the Pursuit tomorrow. Come ride the Pursuit tomorrow." So I went over and rode the Pursuit, which is
What was it he had me ride?
it wasn't the
Scout?
Scout. It was a Chief, one of the new Chiefs.
Yeah.
So she
What'd you
rode a
think of
Chief.
it? Did you like it?
The Chief.
Yeah.
I didn't like the clutch on it, and I
That's
don't
because
know.
Indian's clutch sucks.
And
Yep.
I don't know. There's quite a bit difference. I mean, like when I picked the bike I got now, that was like my perfect fit. So it's hard for me to even like others. Now, when I decide to go bigger, then we'll see, but right now the bike I've got is my perfect bike, I feel. So I'm good where I'm at right now.
And before anybody hates on me for saying Indian's clutch sucks, if last year's clutch didn't suck, then why did they put in their press announcement this year that they fixed the clutch? Because that was actually one of the things they pointed out in the press announcement for the 23 launch was they fixed the clutch.
It was horrible.
And we saw guys almost dropping the bike. Everything else, I complained about it. They said they've been hearing complaints about it all day. I talked to the guy at the BMW test rides at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, and he had an Indian, and he didn't keep it a year and got rid of it because of the clutch.
Huh.
And because they told him they couldn't adjust it, they couldn't fix it, and he's like, "I'm not having this."
We could put Monkey back on and see what he thinks of Indian.
You want me to tell you what he's going to say? You want to hear my monkey impression? Fuck that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up his opinion on Indian. But I've rode the Challenger 2 years ago. I rode the Pursuit last year. I'm willing to ride anything. I mean, I'll ride a Honda Goldwing and see if I like it. And I'll be honest, I really liked the BMW R18 better than I did the Indians. And maybe I'll like the Indian better this year now that they fixed the clutch. But there's some of these things that they tout and they talk about, like the it's got aluminum frame. It's a bullet list, of things that says, oh, it's got this, this, and this. But what does it matter if it has aluminum frame if the frame is not any lighter or the bike's not any lighter because of it? What real benefit do you gain from that other than it keeps it from being even heavier than it would be if you didn't have the aluminum frame?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see Adam Sandoval tomorrow at noon. He still thinks that Challenger is more responsive than the tour bikes that Harley's making.
I don't think he said that since he's been on the Convoy, has he?
Well, that's what I'm anxious to hear.
I would bet he's probably not going to say that in front of a camera, at least during the Convoy. And I can't blame him. I mean, Harley Davidson's put him on a bike and he's doing all this stuff and he's happy to be working with Harley again. I think that's great. I'm happy for him.
I am too. I'm happy he is back in good graces with Harley.
I wanted to really go see him when he gets to Blacktop Harley Davidson in Columbia, but I don't think I'm going to make it because we have a meeting that night at 7:00 that is a good 2 hours from that dealership. So he gets there at 4. I would have to be there when he got there at 4, say hi, make a donation, and skedaddle, and meet Firecracker to be at our meeting by 7. Because
it could be a hell of a meet and greet because that's his birthday.
Oh, the 8th is his birthday?
Yeah, they're going to celebrate. They're going to celebrate his birthday at the dealership.
His wife and son's coming to meet him.
And, they're coming up, and I'm anxious to see if I see them tomorrow here in Kansas City.
Right on. Well, Bowman's got to roll out. He's prepping for the Kansas City airstrip attack. Hate to miss this weekend, but foods do stupid things in Kansas. Yeah, he's going to go run that 208 horsepower Ducati down an airstrip again.
Ooh, wow.
So Scott says no rust on aluminum. That is true. That's an advantage, but I don't know when the last time I saw a frame rusted out on a newer tour bike, unless it was pretty well abused, not taken care of. And that's the thing I say, it's got to have it's got to have some real value in the end. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It probably keeps it from being heavier than it was, but it's not making it, 100 pounds lighter than the Harley either.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we probably ought to call tonight. We have not ate dinner yet. We didn't get dinner ate before we started this show, and somebody's probably going to want to be fed, like me, because I'm the fat boy in the group. So anyway, Steve, thank you for your time. I know Charlie's gone, but if anybody's seeing this, we want to thank Charlie for his time. Jeff messaged me. He had some things come up at the bar and he was late, but he did message me and stuff. And I told him it was not a problem, that we'd covered it. And Charlie had stayed on for a good hour to visit with us. And we had lots of information about the Rumble Rally to share with everybody. Thank Monkey for getting on the live and talking CVOs with us for a little bit. And I hope everybody tunes in when we try and do this again in a couple of weeks. So,
Sounds great.
All right. Y'all take care. See you in the next one. Love y'all. Be safe. Keep
Peace.
on riding.